Hello, everyone, and welcome to Toku Portal Podcast. I am Ryan. With me is
Did it a decade, and today we're talking about Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger, episode 5. So we start with the opening. The Rangers use a power-up to learn more about the time Ui was a Minosaur host, even though the hosts lose their memory. We get a flashback, and they confirm that Crayon is creating the Minosaurs.
we already knew
So,
that, but they didn't.
yeah,
Important distinction.
yes. So Toa is playing with a puppy. His friend Sonai is looking for a home for him. He was abandoned, and she thinks it's despicable that people treat animals like that. And then Bamba shows up.
That's a real thing too. People get a pet because they think it's cool or popular, but then they don't actually want to take care of it and end up just throwing it out into the streets.
Yep, pretty messed up. So Crayon looks for a potential host, or scaring a bunch of people. Bamba Ryusoul changes and attacks. Green calls the others, despite Black's protest. Crayon tries to retreat, and then of course Joe shows up to save him, or whatever.
We should also point out that Bomba's plan here is that if they just defeat Creon, he can't make any more Minosaurs. Problem solved. That's his train of thought, and he still thinks he's better than Ko and the others, so he doesn't want their help.
Yep, basically. So Black and Green use power-ups. The other three Ryusoulgers join the fight. And then an earthquake interrupts the fight. And Tankjo is able to draw energy from it, turn it into cannonballs, which he fires from his chest cannon. And the Rangers are instantly knocked out of form with one blast. Thoughts?
Even so, when they were all going at him all together and stuff, he was he was clearly taking the hits. He would flinch a couple of times, but he did not look like he was actually getting hurt. He looked more like when you go to pet a cat and it scratches at you and you draw back instinctively.
Yeah, he was just overwhelmed because there was 5 cats scratching him. But yeah, that's pretty interesting power. It's on one hand it's kind of ridiculous, but on the other hand it's pretty original, so I like it. But yeah, Ko tells him basically that all life is precious, that Isol changes, and then Tankjo reminds him that he killed his master, and Red gets blinded by rage. The brothers try to rejoin, but the Minosaur shows up and bites Toa on the arm. Then the villains retreat.
So, I really like the idea of okay, so Ko is actually mad about his master's death. We have actual emotion there because we saw it happen, and we have justification for him getting mad at Tankjo here. So I really like how they set this up. I'm kind of let down with how they resolve it later in the episode, though, but we'll talk about that then.
Yeah. So Ko is still angry that his master had to sacrifice himself for him. Crayon celebrates the imminent death of Toa. Poison of the Minosaur bite will kill him in 2 days. So his friend Sanaya is the Minosaur host. Bamba, of course, gets his blade ready, but Toa stops him, and then the poison in his arm starts hurting.
So when I saw that it was a wolf Minosaur, I thought that the dog itself was going to be the target, and then this would be an argument about the value of life of an animal versus a person. But we didn't get that. Also, something I forgot to mention before was that Creon already created a Minosaur with a. So, like, him scaring all those people was literally, like, luring the real soldiers into an ambush. They both, like, both sides came up the plan of let's just wipe out the other side together, at the same time.
Yep, it was clever. So at Ui's, Bamba explains Sonaya's negative feelings. Toa asks him not to hurt her because he's kind of accepted that they aren't just affecting one life to save many. That one person they kill has friends and family that will be hurt too.
I'm reading between the lines here, but I'm interpreting this as, like, Toa just straight up has a crush on her.
Uh, or once again, it goes back to Toa and Bamba's family being killed.
Like, yeah, that's why Bamba listens to him. Because Bamba clearly, like, really cares about his brother enough to, like, abandon his own ethics or ideals to do this. To, like, not just go after her like he normally would and actually track down the Minosaur. And Toa, like, has, like, been hearing out Ko and the others a bit more here. But during that scene of them interacting before, like, I definitely got the impression that, like, Toa has more than just a friendly affection for Sonae or whatever her name is.
Yeah, it's also kind of interesting because the other Rangers weren't allowed to interact with civilians. So how did that happen? Maybe she'll stick around.
It's because they weren't allowed to while they were under their master's guidance, but Toa and Bamba graduated and left, like, way before they did.
Yeah. So Ko tells Bamba about his master. Bamba thinks that his master's kindness was a weakness. That's why he's dead.
It's also worth noting, though, that Bamba asks about Ko's master. Ko doesn't just start sharing his story. Bamba is now actively, like, hearing him out. Like, you lost someone important to you. What was that like? Like, what kind of person were they? Like, he is actively trying to understand how Ko's feeling right now.
Yeah, it's a big change compared to him just saying nothing to Asuna. So the Rangers search for the Minosaur, but Tonkjo turns giant and attacks. Hello, Henshin.
Henshin for Pi is here.
So
the list that I saw, it's like podcast. Yay! Sorry I'm late. I had a late dinner.
That's fine.
Fortunately for you, I was also late, so we are still early on in the episode here.
Okay, where are we up to?
So we just got to.
We got
Tonkjo just turning giant and attacking. So anything before that?
We're like talking about Banba and Ko talking about Ko's dead master.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
So let me ask you, because I might be reading into this, like, completely wrong. Toa and Sonae, the girl he was talking to, what do you think about them?
Probably just friends. I mean, we likely are never going to see her again, so maybe they're in a relationship, but even if they are, I don't know if we're going to see any more of it.
I do not think they are in a relationship, but the way I was, like, reading the scene, I kind of got the impression that Toa does maybe have feelings for her. But, like, I could be reading that wrong.
Yeah. She's the Minosaur victim of the week. I doubt we'll see her again, meaning if this is a relationship or Toa has feelings for her, it's likely not going to go anywhere. But at least shows that Toa isn't as set on destroying the Minosaur no matter the cost, at least not as much as his brother is.
It's because Toa has like been opening his mind to Ko, like after they had that friendly rivalry before, and now he's like now someone like closer to him is the target. Like at the very least, he is friends with this girl who is caring for this uh, dog without a home. Like, hey, if they just kill her, what happens to the dog?
Yeah. And that dog is the cutest puppy ever.
Right?
I mean, I've seen lots of cute puppies. There are probably cuter puppies out there, but that puppy was very cute. I was half afraid he would become the Minosaur host.
I also said that too. When I saw that it was like a wolf Minosaur, I thought it was going to be the dog. Which would have made an interesting episode about, like, hey, what's the value of an animal versus the value of a person? And
Yeah.
Bomba could have made that argument. They didn't go that direction, and the direction they went in is also good, but that would have been an interesting one.
Yeah. Also, this episode confirms that the Minosaurs are created by squirting people's mouths.
Again, we already knew this.
Yes, but still, seeing it again.
It's pretty gross. So yeah, Tonk Joe turns giant, buys some time for the others. They deploy in Kishiryu 3 nights. Black stops Crayon and the Minosaur from poisoning the city's water supply.
So, I want to interrupt you here because I want to bring up Power Rangers Beast Morphers.
I haven't seen the latest episode.
You don't need to. But on the last podcast, Drago and I were talking about how effectively they use their team. Like, they have more than just one member that can split up. Beast Morphers has been doing a very good job of, like, having Rangers on the ground fighting the Robotron, while one of them will, like, jump in their mech to fight the giant robot.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're talking about how, like, effective they use their team's diversity and, like, split them up effectively. And it's neat to see that here in Ryusoulger, because you don't always get that in Sentai or Power Rangers. Like, generally the team sticks together. But here, hey, two different things are going on, and the team just instinctively, like, tackles the two different aspects of it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have.
Like, you are not like one sentient being in 5 parts. You are 5 individual people. You can split up if you need to. You can work together in pairs or groups.
I hope they keep that even after Toa and Banba officially join the team. You can have them split up to tackle the various aspects of the problem even when they're working together.
Standard formula says unlikely, but not impossible.
Okay.
Case in point, Kyu Ranger. They had 12 members and they rarely split up.
Yeah, so Black stops them from poisoning the water. Red loses his cool again, but Melto reminds him of his master's words. Get a little flashback. Basically, their strength comes from protecting others, not vengeance or anger. So Black defeats the Minosaur. 3 Nights struggles until Mill Needle joins the fight, which is the Black Kishiryu.
So before we continue, like I was saying before, I like how they set up Ko's anger against Tankjo for killing his master. It's very appropriate and very emotional, especially since we saw it happen ourselves. And this is kind of where my disappointment comes in. So the resolution itself is fine. Like, Melto tells Ko, don't let anger control you. And then Ko doesn't listen the first time. And then Melto reminds him again, like, really, you don't let anger control you. And after Ko has had time to, like, calm down and hearing those words, he remembers, like, hey, his mentor, like, once said something similar to him. And he realizes, like, this isn't what my mentor trained me for. This isn't how I was taught. and he realizes why he was wrong. So all that is fine. What disappoints me is that it feels a bit flat when it happened. Like, I just wasn't satisfied. I don't feel like it got the attention it deserved. I appreciate that they're trying to explore more than just one topic in episodes, but this felt a bit too divided. This particular topic didn't get the attention it should have.
Honestly, it seems like they're going to get rid of Tank Joe really early on, probably to make way for the next generals, but that disappoints me because I'm like, you could make a whole arc of Ko trying to get revenge on Tank Joe.
Oh, I want that. Like, what?
Yeah, that could have been easily the main plot for an episode on its own, so you're right in just sticking it in with Toa's character arc in this episode is as much space for either plot. You get some space, but not enough space for either plot.
Right. Like,
same time.
We had the episode where something else was happening, but also Melto was disconnected from his Kishiryu, and it was like it didn't get the attention it should have gotten, I feel. But that was a weaker plot, and so I can kind of overlook that. Like, you know what? That's resolved, whatever. This is a much stronger plot, and while it got enough attention to get the point across, I would have loved to have seen it explored more.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. So Milneedle shows up, they Gattai to form Shiryu Milneedle. And Tongjo is defeated with superior strength. It's kind of a neat combination. He basically has two like mini shields and kind of fights like a sumo wrestler, which is interesting. But it looks good. Any thoughts on the mech?
Spike Kishiryu becoming the punching mode of the robot is a little bit funny, but I guess it works.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Sorry, I don't mean to... Oh, right. There we go. Durian arms!
Yeah. He needed two swords. Instead we gave him two giant fists or something. But yeah, it's cool. And next episode we're gonna see all five combined, so
yeah,
that'll be interesting.
So this mech appearance is like, it's the kind of like hero character that I drew when I was a kid, where I would just put spikes all over their body.
Or any comic book character from the 90s. Minus the 3 million belts.
Yeah, so...
Sorry.
I'll just go on. Yeah, Tank Joe is defeated. Of course, there's a big explosion, but he actually manages to survive.
So it got me at first where I thought, like, hey, he was actually defeated. And it cuts to Kreon, like, complaining about it. And it was very clear, like, alright, Kreon is going to run into someone when he turns that bend. And I thought it was going to be, like, some new general, because so far these are only two Droidons we met. So it's kind of like, oh man, who's he going to run into? Like, what new boss is he going to have? And then it was Tank Joe, and again, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Tank Joe is basically Destra.
Why am I forgetting who Destra is?
Lupat, the big grenade guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, him! Yeah, Destra should have had 4 episodes, but going back to Ryusoulger, I'll at least have one more episode with Destra where they can finally defeat him and make sorry.
Tank
Oh,
Joe.
shit, did I call him Joe?
Yes.
I thought you did that on
Thank
purpose.
Joe, my mistake.
I could tell she didn't. That's why I laughed.
I guess they're kind of similar. Yeah, they are basically the same. They're the strong, kind of brooding type.
I wasn't joking when I said that.
Okay, now I realize
Now you
that.
get it.
Yes.
Yeah, it does seem like he's actually going to be defeated next episode, which will be interesting because he's the first commander we've seen. But it seems like he's just the opening act, and he might not be as high ranking as we are giving him credit for.
Yeah, because like in the first episode, there was like a blacked out shot of a bunch of other characters in the background who I presume to be generals we'll meet later.
Or like important monsters of the week.
Important monsters of the week. Also, I realized I'm like, wow, Creon is just a full, like 100% a coward.
Oh, totally. But he's
and I liked how in this episode they're like, he's making the Minosaurs go after Creon. I'm like, finally, a team thinks of doing that instead of like, let's stand around while the bad guy that makes the monsters grow makes the monsters grow.
But also, Creon had that ambush ready for the Ryusoulgers by pretending that he hadn't created a Minosaur yet. Like, both sides came up with the idea to just take each other out at the same time.
What a coincidence. I'm like, you can't kill Creon until like episode 46 or something.
If you even kill him.
So,
how often does the one who makes the monsters or makes them grow, like, actually get taken out? This is a legitimate question.
It's actually pretty often.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They just like the enemies after are able to, like, do it themselves or steal the method of turning giant.
I think I haven't seen Kyoryuger, but I think like Lucky Roo eventually turned good or something.
Yeah, Lucky Roo was just a kid and was easily swayed into being a good guy.
Alright.
In
Arya died in a rather stupid method.
Who?
Narya in
Ryusoulger. Okay, I thought you said Arya. Narya got fucking ripped off on her death. Like, I heard about that, and that just upsets me, who hasn't even seen the show.
I saw that happen as it aired, and not as it aired, like a day or two later, and I'm like, why? Like, you may have a complex about being made of a lot of different aliens or whatever, but she's like, nope, doesn't matter to you, so why kill her off?
Gotch got fucking owned.
Poor Gauch. Gauch could have been cool too. At least she got more fight scenes.
What? How did it work in Key Ranger? Did they just grow themselves?
They used DeGranio's power that was put into like a little badge or whatever.
You mean Don Armage?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm tired. Don Armage, yes. His power was put into those little badges. They broke, and then he grew giant. So technically, yes.
So technically, yes, if you want to make that argument, I don't count that.
Yeah.
But yeah, technically, yes, if you want to. I know if you want to like go really old in Jew Ranger, Plecon was just sealed away with all the others.
Is he like the one with like that kind of looks like a gremlin and is white?
He's Finster.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm thinking of the same guy.
Yeah, he looks like a gremlin and he's white.
That guy.
Jeez. Okay. In Gal Ranger, the Sentai counterpart to Toxica. I don't think she gets taken out in series, but she gets taken out in the Ninja versus movie. Not Ninja,
Alright.
Hurricaneger.
No, yeah, she does in series
She does? Okay.
too. Yeah.
Who goes the monsters in Tokuger?
They grow themselves from the despair of shadows or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like most of the time it is, but then sometimes they don't
So-
need anyone.
Yeah, so you get those exceptions.
Yeah.
So Creon actually probably could. Creon could sway either way, but he's pretty evil, so probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Very
really
sadistic.
want him to view a teams right now.
So yeah, final note. At Ui's, Toa and Sanai are still unconscious. Poison in Toa spreads, and of course, for dramatic effect, he appears to be dead. Episode end.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to be dead.
Imagine
Yes.
though. Imagine if they had the balls to like kill off a team member in the first 5 episodes.
No,
Then
because
that
we
would
still
mean all
have
of
the happy dance
marketing
song
and,
at
like,
the end.
everything in the dance. And
Right,
everything
right,
is
like-
a lie.
Right,
Also,
like
this is the character I'm gonna be cosplaying. I am paying lots of money to buy his shirt off Premium Bandai. They'd better not kill him now.
like oh man, like the Green Ranger might be fucking dead. Da 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 da.
Yes, I'm like, yay, first mood whiplash of the season.
Oh, that'd be really messed up if they like took him out of the ending dance. Like
Oh,
just
man.
for
Everyone
this.
else is dancing like
episode.
nothing
I
happened.
would love to watch a Sentai series that trolled the audience like that. Uh,
But I'm like, they haven't fully combined the teams yet. It's episode 5.
episode 6 seems to be the official altogether.
I've seen the next time trailer. They don't even try to hide the fact that he'll be fine.
Oh, Japan doesn't care about spoilers. It's called advertising.
Yes.
Why else
No
do you
idea.
think we already know what the Sixth Ranger looks like?
Yes, we already know what the Sixth Ranger looks like.
Yeah, like, because they don't care about spoilers. Like, here it is, get hyped.
Oh, random question. Would you
What?
prefer a goofy Sixth Ranger, a goofy Ryusoulger Gold, a serious Ryusoulger Gold, or something different?
Okay, so that's a good question here. So looking at the team dynamic we have now, Ko is like a more relaxed Red. He's kind of silly, but he's not goofy. You have the spirited Asuna, or yeah, that's pink, right? Asuna.
Yes.
Yeah, Asuna. She's not an airheaded pink like we've gone in the past. Like, she's fine. You have the logical Melto. Like, he's kind of like it's not that he doesn't have emotions, just that he just looks at things from a more objective standpoint. You've got the childish Choa, and then you've got the serious Banba. So you've got a pretty diverse cast here. So I could see them pulling an actual goofy Sixth Ranger, because Ko is already he's silly but he's not goofy. So bringing in an actual goofy member could liven up the party a bit. I think that maybe a serious member would step on Bomba's character a bit too much.
Would you like a Genta level goofy ranger or something lesser, more goofy?
I know that I was complaining about the comparisons to Kishiryu before the show started, but I would actually just be down for another Kishiryu Gold. Like, he really worked well as a goofy sixth member, and I think that style would actually fit in well here.
Yes, need to get around to watching Kyoryuger. Like the goofy Sixth Ranger, I think of the most guy from Gokaiger, but he seems like maybe a little too goofy.
I don't know. Genta might have been a bit goofier than Guy. Uh,
Ah,
Kiryu Gold, I forget his name, but he's like, he's goofy in the sense that he's an ancient warrior from a few hundred years in the past, so he's kind of like exploring modern day, and you get to see his reactions to culture shock. Culture shock.
culture shock. That's always good for comedy.
Like, they have an entire episode where he meets this spoiled kid whose parents do literally everything for him, and he the kid trips and falls over, and at first Gold like wants to help pick him up, but then stops himself, like, no, a boy should be able to pick himself up, that's how they grow. And then the boy like pulls a string on his backpack that sets off like this alarm, and the parents come running and pick him up, and then start yelling at Gold for not picking him up.
That's more than helicopter parenting. That's enabling helicopter parenting.
For real. Like, Gold runs into him at a park later, and the kid like tells Gold to like throw his trash away for him, and Gold is like, you can do that yourself. And the kid's like, but the trash can is way over there. It's like 10 feet away. Huh. Well, so Decade, what do you think? What kind of Sixth Ranger do you want?
Honestly, I'd be fine with a serious one, but that has like a goofy side or goofy aspect about him. So he's not serious all the time like Bomba's going to be.
Right. Like I want like Kiryu Gold's kind of goofy, but not the same like I want the same kind of like culture shock kind of thing where he's like from a different world basically, but I want him to like actually like be a knight. Like 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 he's got like all these like formalities about him and such, and he's like being like like the others are always like trying to get him to be more casual in like social situations and such.
Yeah, something like that could.
I'm already calling him being that guy in the scarf we see in the opening, and then once briefly in like episode 3.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what he actually said to Black and Green.
Right. He was that the same guy we saw at the end of Psycho Battle?
Maybe. It's
We
been a
just saw his
while.
hand, so we don't know.
Well, like, because that guy is like a candidate as well.
Oh, no. You mean the one who picked up Guy Sorg's helmet at the end, who we didn't see?
When Toa and Bama got teleported away from the temple they were in, a dude comes in and picks up
That's
the
Red
Ryu.
Master.
That was Red
Oh, that was
Master
Red Master. Oh, okay. I don't remember what he
Red.
looks like. So, okay. Okay, no. So someone picked up Guy Sorg's helmet. All right. Well, he's coming back as a villain.
I'm
We already
looking
knew
forward to
that, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure he's gonna show up, and they were like, we can take this guy on, no problem. Oh god, it hurts.
Like, continuing the Kyoryuger comparisons, I hope that Guy Sorg is a better villain than Death Ryuger was. I'm not saying Death Ryuger was a bad villain, I'm just saying he was underplayed.
Wasn't Death Ryuger only in the movie?
He had, I think he had one appearance in the main series
Oh,
for
right.
like an episode.
He has like a
I
predator face under his helmet.
I don't remember if that's true or not. I just remember that like his user comes back. I don't remember if he becomes Death Ryuger again. And then the suit is
Okay.
used again in 100 years after when the new Kyoryugers are like get all their colors mixed up and shit, and one of them accidentally becomes Death Ryuger.
Interesting.
He's not evil or anything. He just but because they're all using the wrong colors, like none of them can use their powers, and they get fucking wrecked.
Uh,
Huh.
So, any other final thoughts?
this was a good episode. There was some good fight choreography early on, and I like that Toa's getting more character development, and we should have the team all complete together next week, so that'll be fun to see. And then hopefully we'll see more villains, and maybe Geisorg will come back. I hope so.
This was a really good episode. It's interesting that like a character we saw as a commander is possibly going to be taken out for real next week. So I'm interested in seeing where they carry on with that because we've only met two of the actual villains of this show. Who is higher up in the ranks that we are not seeing? And if next week kind of like teases us with that, then it'll definitely have my interest.
Yeah, this was a good episode. I'm looking forward to next week. And seeing Bamba hopefully chill out.
Anka has no chill.
Yeah.
Nope, no chill.
So thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with more Kamen Rider Zeo, and Thursday for more Power Rangers Beast Morphers. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Kaboom.
Thanks for listening.